When Game 5 started in Milwaukee, all eyes were on the new starting lineup Coach Budenholzer put on the floor, and the knockout punch the Bucks threw at the Raptors in the first 5 minutes. Based on the odds of the Game 5 winner winning the whole series, it looked like the Bucks were already planning to host Game 1 of the finals. But that's when the familiar pattern emerged, as the real MVP in this series stood up, took matters into his own ridiculously large hands, and carried his team to victory. The first 4.5 minutes of the first and third quarters were the high points to this game for the Bucks, as they utilized a nice mix of both transition and half-court possessions to put the Raptors completely on their heels. While I was surprised it was Nikola Mirotic who was sent to the bench instead of the struggling Eric Bledsoe, he came out of the gate firing, and both teams were happy with this shot. The defense doesn't mind the long two, and the offense ecstatic to see Bledsoe make a shot. While Bledsoe scored well during the stretch, he does get beat backdoor in this great set by the Raptors as they hit the high post and get Lowry going to the hoop. Bledsoe clearly hits Lowry's arm, the refs don't call it, and they're off to the races. Giannis collapses 3 defenders into the lane, and it's an easy kick out to Brogdon, who lets it fly from 3. The Raptors get caught with their pants down on this one. Watch Lowry leave the frame on the bottom of the screen, but falls asleep and doesn't realize until way too late that his man is Bledsoe, streaking to the right corner. This should not have been a transition possession, although giving Bledsoe this shot isn't the worst idea, but he makes them pay. As we've seen, the Raptors' offense routinely broke down the defense only to miss or throw it away several times. Lowry gets right into the lane, creates a layup for Gasol, who tries doing an off-foot finish and throws it too hard off the backboard. And as always, you miss a layup, you give up a layup. Only this time, Bledsoe almost trips over the half-court line, but recovers to toss up the alley-oop to Giannis for the thunderous finish. The second half was a mirror image of the first, with Bledsoe kicking it off with a pull-up jumper from the same spot he hit it in the first quarter, but again, both sides liking this shot. While this possession wasn't transition, it was fast enough to keep the defense off balance and out of position until it gets to Lopez in the right corner. Lopez oozes by Gasol, and once he got even with the second E in Milwaukee, it was over. Bledsoe was clearly feeling more comfortable on the court in Game 5 as he pushes the ball, then patiently waits for Lopez to bump into Siakam before rising up for the open 3-ball and extending their lead. Bledsoe gets away with a bit of a collision on the 3-point shooter in the corner, and that triggers another fast break for the Bucks, and lets Giannis do what he's best at, get to the front of the rim, pin his man behind him, and finish strong. But that was it for the Bucks, as they struggled mightily to score from anywhere in the remaining 37 minutes. While the Bucks got better shooting from Bledsoe in Game 5, the Raptors matched that and then some with Fred VanVleet, who came off the bench to give them 37 big minutes, going 7 for 9 from 3 with a ridiculous plus 28 plus minus. On the jump ball, there's a scramble, but Mirotic must close out to the ball here. Instead, he runs away thinking it's not his man, and VanVleet gets a great look. The Bucks' defensive philosophy doesn't adhere to a very important principle of no middle defense, and this is a big reason why it kills you. Kawhi gets into the lane, it forces 2 others to rotate over and down, and VanVleet gets another open look from behind the arc. More reason to be troubled by the Milwaukee defensive principles. Here's Connaughton helping in the post 1 pass away. A big no-no in my book, and it leads directly to Powell finding the opening. Then another help 1 pass away leads to the easy kick out, and VanVleet knocks another one down. If you're wondering how this should have gone, Ilyasova should rotate over and double, Brogdon splits the difference between the 2 weak side defenders, and then closes out to the first pass. At least that way, you have a chance to get a hand up. You might already be feeling lucky since you're getting a leg up with all of my insights. So head right over to betonline.ag, the one place to get in on all the action, grab the odds, and allow the experts to do the heavy lifting for you. BetOnline.ag is BBallBreakdown's preferred sportsbook online. If you're feeling lucky and would like to support the channel, go to clnsmedia.com/bball and use promo code CLNS50 for a 50% sign-up bonus. BetOnline.ag, your online sportsbook experts. And that brings us to the best player on the floor on both ends, as Kawhi the Claw Leonard has posted some incredible numbers through 5 games. The Raptors are now taking advantage of what I perceive as fundamental flaws in the Bucks defense. By executing this handoff, they know they can get the switch of Ilyasova on Kawhi. And in the Bucks' focus on stopping penetration, it leads to Mirotic helping one pass away, giving Kawhi the easy pass to the wide-open Powell and no one near him on the catch for the open three. I had to stare at the stat for a minute to make sure I was seeing it right, but all 9 of Kawhi's assists last night were for three-point shots. That's got to be a record, right? And here's another example of helping one pass away, as all Lopez would have needed to do is jab step at Kawhi and get right back to the corner on Siakam. Instead, it's a full rotation, another easy pass for Kawhi, and an easy shot for 3. And we need only look at some of his 15 points in the fourth quarter to get a handle on how dominant he is. And the Raptors use pistol offense over and over to force specific switches. Here, getting the slow-footed Lopez onto Kawhi, and in his best MVP impersonation, he just isolates out top and check the scissoring of the feet into a hop quick release 3 that Lopez simply can't get to, regaining the lead for the Raptors. And this switch was just plain silly and unnecessary, and the Raptors say thank you as they clear out and let Kawhi go to work as he unleashes his step-back game. Again, notice how he utilizes the hop to get balance and explosion up and over Lopez for another huge 3. Believe it or not, that was Kawhi's last bucket of the game, and it's got to feel awful for Milwaukee that he wasn't a scoring factor down the stretch except for 3 free throws. In the last 5 minutes, the Raptors made only 3 field goals. The first came as the defense was collapsed, Giannis recovers well, but Gasol gets enough room to catch and shoot this bucket to extend their lead to 7. The Bucks do hang tough, and even get a good fast break deep in the fourth when normally you don't see one off of a shot attempt. Of course, it's Brogdon making the play when his three-pointer doesn't go down. He not only saves the ball, but throws a bullet right into Brook Lopez's shot pocket, and all he needs to do is release and splash to tie the game. The Raptors run a high post split, and Brogdon does well to keep Kawhi in front despite the handoff. Check Middleton on the right side. He recognizes Gasol as setting a flare screen, yet he still lets himself get screened and then gets stuck as Gasol gets out of the way, causing Middleton to fall, and it's another 3-point assist for Kawhi and another bomb by Van Vliet for a huge basket. We already talked about no middle, and we get another example of why it kills your defense. Look how Middleton positions his feet after the closeout. He's inviting the middle penetration, Lopez gets sucked into Van Vliet's orbit, so now there's no choice but to foul Kawhi. It's not all bad for the Bucks as Kawhi misses the first, but Giannis had hurt his right ankle earlier in the game on a drive, and then for some inexplicable reason decided to full court press on Kawhi with under 2 minutes to go, and he rolls the ankle even further. It wasn't severe, but they took him out of the game, only to have him sit at the scorer's table waiting to get right back in. No treatment, no timeout, even though they had 2.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
And now the Bucks were forced to endure 2 possessions without their best player on the floor, down by only 4. Of course, Middleton gets a layup, so that didn't matter. And of course, the ISO by Kawhi on Brogdon is just about an air ball, so that didn't hurt the Bucks either until Gasol grabs the rebound and is fouled. But he misses another free throw. Had Kawhi and Gasol hit their shots, this game would already be over. Brogdon gets the kick out, well covered by Siakam, and during the rip-through move, the ball hits Siakam's leg, then bounces off of Brogdon's shin. And this is the beginning of the end. With the shot clock and game clock difference, the Bucks cannot allow the Raptors to run down the clock. And this is where it got even crazier. The Bucks foolishly send 3 players to the backcourt to Kawhi. His lob to Lowry is covered by Middleton, who clearly wants to take the foul, but check the replay. I can see why the refs didn't call this. Giannis doesn't make contact at all. What? And you can see instead of initiating the contact down on the arm, Middleton actually opens up and moves his hand in the same direction as the ball is going. No foul, Siakam gets a wide open dunk, and that's the game, folks. A stunning ending to a crucial game that will most likely decide who wins this series. It seems unlikely to me that the Bucks can go into Toronto and get Game 6. And with what I've shown of their defensive foundation, I don't think they can adjust to how the Raptors are completely exploiting it. Even still, it's going to be a great game with lots of energy and desperation, and my prediction is that Kawhi Leonard will be opening the doors to welcome the Warriors to their house for Game 1 of the NBA Finals.